Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Brown Dust 2 video. So first up, congratulations to Brown Dust 2 for reaching 800 days. That's a pretty long time. So I've been playing Brown Dust 2 for 800 days. I'm a day 1 player. So that is, looking at the number by itself, that's just like a crazy amount, right? So that's like more than 2 years now. So if you guys haven't already, there will be the celebration gift in the mailbox, so make sure you guys come here and claim it. So it is going to be this particular one. So as you can see, free 10 tickets just like that, alongside with the free daily login rewards right now. If you guys haven't already played, this video we're going to focus on, what is that? We're going to try to focus on the important Powder of Hope. That's going to be a relevant one, but I just want to get that out of the way. So let's talk about the the shops. All right, so since it is going to it has resetted or reset rather, so we're gonna talk about a few other ones. So if you guys are still watching this in the month of August, so this video is out in the month of August, so if you guys haven't used this particular one, costume selective enhancement, make sure you guys use that particular one. Now if you have Rubia, the current banner Rubia, you can basically try to use this particular one to enhance your Rubia to just get the 10 tickets from this will always work. If you guys don't know, basically you can use that to basically get her, and then you can get like the tickets in return that way. If you're trying to basically I would say take advantage of the system, but it's not like an illegal thing. It is allowed to do that, right? Keep in mind this doesn't work on limited characters like Therese, any of the stuff, right? So let's talk a little bit more about the current shop. Who should you get right now? So keep in mind that they did mention in the previous developers note, I forgot which developers note, but I think the most recent one, they did say that the collaboration will rerun soon. Okay, so there's no exact dates given. They did not mention which collaboration will rerun. So that's going to be something that you guys have to keep in mind before you waste too much of this stuff. I don't think it's going to affect any of these particular things that I'm going to talk about, right? Because all of this stuff here, the Powder of Hope especially, you cannot save it for the collabs, right? This is going to be exclusive to standard banner characters only. So let's first talk about B rank idol Eleaneer. Should you get this particular one? The funny thing about this particular costume, I was doing some runs in the Tower of Salvation earlier today, and I was like trying to figure out Eleaneer. Always in my mind, there's always two characters that can basically remove buffs. One is going to be Sherazad and one is going to be Eleaneer. Now this particular costume unfortunately doesn't remove buff, which is going to be a little bit upsetting, a little bit confusing. If you guys are not aware, Sherazad has her basic principle is to remove buffs in general, and it applies to every single one of her costume. So you can see this one right here, remove buffs from the enemy. So it's mentioned right here. This particular one right here, remove buffs from the enemy. So this particular one, remove buffs from the enemy. This particular one, remove buffs from the enemy. So it just makes Sherazad a better character as a buff remover. Now why is that important, right? If you are in the early game, you might not care about it that much, but once you play the Tower of Salvation, once you go into the later stages of the game, there are some enemies that has taunt. Ideally, that is going to be very useful to do that, right? And also in PvP. Now, Eleaneer also has the remove buff, but not on this costume though, on the other costume. Eleaneer has two costumes. She has the schoolgirl one. This particular one can remove buff from the enemy, as you guys can see, and then this one cannot. This one can apply silence instead. Now silence is going to be cool, but ideally if the enemy has the preemptive taunt or whatever, and those are going to be where Sherazad shines or where this other costume shines, right? I think Eleaneer is in dire need to have a third costume, so it's just going to be a matter of time. For now, how strong is this costume overall? If we were to evaluate it as a whole, I would say it's decent, right? You get 270% times 3, you have the silence as well, and you have the additional stat reduce enemy defense by 20%. Now the skill range is not bad. It's a cross tile, right? The problem here is this is a very front costume, right? It's not a skip. Ideally, skip is going to be way better. Very front with this kind of range is going to be very, very difficult to hit multiple units. So that's just going to be how it is. And then there's going to be this particular one as well, which again, it is a very front. There's going to be way more characters that can do more, for example, like Leatrice and stuff, right? Which is a skip character, skip tile. So in a lot of cases, Eleaneer just doesn't shine as a whole, right? If you're looking for the dark type, which is what her element is, physical, which is what she is, DPS, right? Dark type physical DPS, she's competing with Luventia. Luventia is just way better. Now, if you already have Luventia, I would say skip this particular one. Now, of course, if you want to, this is going to basically use Golden Thread, right? Golden Thread is going to be, if you have plenty of that, then get her. But I don't think this is a very, I don't think this is like an insane costume that you need to have. This is not a super sought after one. So with that, I feel like if you have, here's my general rule, right? This currency right here, I have 15,000. I have a lot, right? But if you have about, maybe like if you have about 3,000, right? Consider saving. All right. So, but if you have like a lot, then you can consider getting it just for fun if you want to. I don't know who is going to be in the next, Golden Thread. So that's going to be a one more, right? So with that, let's talk about one more before we jump into it. Now, this one, I would highly recommend you guys to get this one. So this is going to be the Mirror Wars shop for the PvP, right? So make sure you guys get Eleaneer. She is going to be essential, crucial in a lot of team formations for Magic team to rotate around. So this is not the B rank idle Eleaneer. This one doesn't give you the does not give you the buff of offensive buff, but it gives you the defensive buff in terms of applying barrier and also give you back 6 SP. So that is very, very valuable. Alright, so this is going to be insane. 70% barrier if you can get her all the way to +5. Highly recommend you guys to get multiple dupes of this costume. Now, what is the ending point or the stopping point, right? Ideally up to +3 is going to be good enough, right? +4 and +5. +5 is just that SP is just way valuable in Fiend Hunter rotation. So there's just no reason for you to not get it, right? If you haven't +5 it, I would highly recommend getting it. This is going to be one of the, I wouldn't say it's like the best of the best, but it's definitely one of the better costumes to have for sure. Especially using this particular the PvP currency, that's going to be very important. So let's talk about Powder of Hope then. Powder of Hope. So we got 4 characters right now alongside with all of these, which is going to be number 1, Overheat Livia, number 2, Track and Field Team Loanne, number 3, Bikini Agent Sylvia, and Pool Party Angelica. So as you can see, this is going to be a very complicated one, right? So Loanne is strong only if you have the other 2 costumes. Alright, that's going to be where it is. Now if you have this Bunny Loanne, alright, again, this is a limited costume, right? I don't know how many of you guys have her. If you have this, and if you have this, then this one is going to be a very good complementary costume. So this costume is supposed to be like a buffer for the other 2. So you increase your magic attack by 80%, right? She does a little bit of damage, but that tile range is not going to do that insane, right? You just mostly you're just using this to set up, right? Basically for the other, which is Bunny Loanne or this particular one to basically go in, right? Because this one, the range is like going to be way more insane. So the other 2 Loanne is going to be dependent on this particular one. Obviously, if you don't have the other Loanne, this one is like +1, Bunny Loanne is like you don't have her, you miss out on the limited characters, then it's probably not going to be that useful, right? So how about Overheat Livia? Now Livia is going to be a very complicated one, right? I think Overheat Livia is very strong. She's going to be one of the stronger characters in the game if you know how to utilize her effects correctly. However, Livia she's just in a weird spot that she's like a little bit of because she's like a debuffer or amplifier in a case. Usually you're going to use her, this particular costume in a Magic team, right? You're going to apply the vulnerability to the enemies. And then this is going to have the vulnerability last for 4 turns. Ideally, you don't want to go and use this particular costume afterwards because it's going to remove the vulnerability. Alright, this one, it does damage, but it removes the vulnerability. So this costume is good if your Livia is going to be the only dedicated damage dealer, if it makes sense, right? So basically you have this costume, you use this, and then you jump into either this one, and then you go with this one to basically remove the vulnerability and basically apply the damage afterwards. Ideally, you in most cases you really don't want to remove the vulnerability. I have never seen a situation where you really want to do that in a Fiend Hunter, except for when Overheat Livia first came out, I think almost 1 year ago. I think it's been that long, which is kind of crazy. So for now, I would say this particular Livia costume, if I have to be honest, right, is probably the least priority out of all 3 of hers. I would say the main priority for Livia, you want to have this particular one, right? So this is going to be the tracksuit one. What is it called again? Explosive Rush. You guys know what it is, right? This is going to be this particular one. The second one is going to be this one, the regular Livia, the default Livia, right? This is the default one. This one is going to be the second priority. This one, in my opinion, is the least priority. If you don't have this one, it's fine. In most Fiend Hunter rotation, you use this one and this one, you rotate around. In some cases, you just don't want to use this in specific because you don't want to remove the vulnerability on the boss, right? Some Fin Hunter boss, they apply vulnerability to themselves, and you don't want to use this to remove that as well. So where some of the, unless it's like maybe on the final turn or the last turn of the battle, in most cases, this one, you can see is not super high priority, right? Now, Bikini Agent Sylvia, so that is going to be where we're going to have this conversation. In my opinion, is going to be her best costume. This is by far Sylvia's best costume. Now, if you haven't +5 her, I would highly recommend you to get this particular one. I feel like this is going to be very, very strong. It is going to be a priority compared to the other two in conjunction to their costumes, right? For example, Loen's best costume, I would argue, is going to be the bunny one and this one, right? This one is just going to be the support. Livia's best costume, I would argue, is going to be this one, the tracksuit one. Bikini Agent Sylvia, I would argue that this is going to be the best one, right? Followed by, I guess this one, the Emerald Sylvia, and then of course we have the Sword Sylvia as well. So that's going to be how it is. This one was useful in the last rotation, but I'm not sure if the counter will ever be useful in any other regular situation or not, right? And one more is going to be Pool Party Angelica. So Pool Party Angelica right now, this one is probably going to be one of her best costume. I would say the Pool Party Angelica is better than this one. This one is like a DOT costume that hits in the straight line. It's a little bit weird. And then this one is like, I think it's a bit weird, right? Because it hits in this tile. Can be used in PvP because it's 2 SP. Very, very useful actually in that particular situation. But in most cases, this one is going to be the best one for PvE if you're looking to tackle like some of the story dungeons, etc, right? However, they have also made story dungeons a little bit easier now that you can borrow from your friends, etc, etc. I would say, comparatively, Sylvia is going to be better in terms of investment in the long run because Sylvia is still the best physical water DPS. So you are investing in her best costume, in this particular case the Bikini Agent. I think you are going to future-proof your account much better. Whereas Angelica is no longer, I guess you can't really count her as a magic DPS, right? You sort of have to count her more as a HP scaling character. It's a little bit weird, right? Because we have like this magic DPS characters, physical DPS characters, and Angelica is like the HP scaling kind of base. But even though she does magic damage, it scales off the max HP of the enemies, right? So it's a little bit weird in that particular case. But regardless, if you're talking about her element as a whole, for light DPS, we got Sacred Yestia, alright, which is going to be the better one for physical. And then of course for magic, we got Olivia recently. Angelica, she just pretty much get phased out right now. I guess power creep has been happening to her a little bit. She is still viable in a lot of situations. If you're using her as a like second or third team, but she's not going to be your main primary team. And I guess she's decent in story, right? But again, we have better choices, better options. So I wouldn't prioritize Angelica as a whole, right? So that's going to be something to consider. I would say Sylvia, definitely get this. Probably if I have to give you guys a priority, it will be Bikini Agent Sylvia, and then Track and Field Loen. That's going to be the second one, I think. And then Overheat Livia is going to be third, I guess. Third will be tied between these two, right? I would say like Bikini Agent Sylvia by far would be the recommendation if you want to get one of these costumes to invest into your account. So that's going to be generally how it is moving forward. Now, if you're looking to save any of this Powder of Hope for like the collect characters or anything, you cannot keep in mind. Alright, so for example, like right now, we got the collab characters, we got the limited characters, which is going to be the limited characters is going to be these two, right? Sylvia, I mean not Sherazad and Therese. These two will not be added to the Powder of Hope after their banner ends because these are limited characters. Alright, so just keep that in mind. If you want to pull those, pull them while you still can. So that's going to be my advice moving forward. Alright, so with that being said, that's going to be it for this particular video. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Give this video a like if you guys enjoyed it. And of course, as per usual, I'll see you guys in the next one. So stay safe, stay tuned. Should have more Brown Dust 2 content coming soon. I'm kind of curious if there's going to be a live stream soon for the next rotation of characters. We'll find it out soon, right? So with that being said, yeah, have a nice day. Goodbye.